Hi everyone, I'm Raven the Swift, and welcome to Raven Reviews. If you've never watched one of my reviews before, I take videos from either YouTube or one submitted to my Discord server, Swift Combat and Fitness, and I basically take a look at it. I do a light dive into the video, offer some possible lessons that exist, and yeah. And then we don't really talk too much about what types of attacks landed and which ones didn't. Usually that information is not very valuable, and I tend to focus on just the lesson. So yeah, if you don't know me, I'm Raven the Swift. I've won a bunch of tournaments across LARP in the United States, and it's a pretty high level competition, so that's me. Anyways, let's get into it. Here we have Atta and Telflair. Telflair here is in the blue and white, and Atta here is in the blue and tan, or with the circle shield. Alright, let's go. Start off the bat, you notice that neither person engaged with any type of setup. They just threw some attacks. Something I want to know here about this reverse wrap that Atta throws is that he throws this reverse wrap without any knowledge of where his opponent might act. And usually before you set up for some type of attack like this, I call this throwing into the tertiary quadrant. The primary and secondary being the shoulders, or the top two quadrants basically of their body, and the tertiary is something that's usually of the lower quadrants. Before you throw to those areas, you kind of have to know where your opponent might respond. And Atta is going to throw a feint out towards Telflair's board side shoulder, and he's going to throw this reverse wrap to his shield side, or sword side hip, but Telflair's going to throw a wrap. And it's helpful to notice, it's helpful to fish information out of your opponent to see where they're going to return to, because I think they end up simoing. There's that little fake, and he threw out. Oh, it hit him in the arm, and then he ended up legging Atta. Still, he could have just been easily hit in the body, and that's an important thing to know. Telflair obviously not being left-handed, which is no issue there, because I'm not right-handed. I'm left-handed. Reset here. Let's see if anyone... I want to see if they start developing some of their attack plans and stuff like that. I don't think Atta expected to be hit in range. I think he thought that was going to be a feint of some type. Nice flurry there by Atta. Good reset. In a one-on-one duel, you have plenty of time to try to set up your attack and try to sell your opponent on something. And that's kind of really, really important in these cases. You need to see where your opponent's going to be reacting, where they might be attacking and stuff like that. And you need to kind of have an idea flow chart, basically, of how things work. And then ideally, once you kind of have a basic flow of what's going on, you need to have some basic attacks that work. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this thing that happens. Telflair does a simple pump fake, cross-side shoulder. He goes bat and throws board side shoulder. That attack, because he just killed Atta with it, he should be capitalizing on that continuously throughout the engagement. If he's not using the resources he's already been successful with to try to kill him. And there he used it again, but it was too late. And really he should have stepped a little bit harder when he did this pump fake over. That little cross attack, I'll slow it down. When he throws his first cross attack, okay, now he should do the exact same thing, but he should step much harder towards that side to juke his opponent and then throw to the board side shoulder. But he didn't, and he moved straight. And that didn't allow him to get the setup that he actually wanted to get from that. And he ended up getting armed, unfortunately. Little jabs back and forth. Again, Telflair set up that hip shot with no setup. Atta threw the exact same shot, but with some setup, so that was good. Again, that board side shoulder is available. I love that he threw it. keep capitalizing on that board side shoulder. I think both these guys could open their shields up a little bit to control space a little bit better. Oh, he called it dead. Okay. I feel like if Telflair would have committed a little bit harder to this can opener maneuver, it would have worked. I call it a can opener because you're using your shield to push open their shield, and then you're just trying to get inside of the juicy deliciousness that's behind the can lid. I feel like if he would have committed just a little bit harder, he would have got in there. But he flubbed it. Atta should be definitely playing off the reverse wraps that he'd been throwing on Telflair. I would like to see Atta move his feet a little bit more because he's just kind of throwing shots with straight on or neutral stance footwork. I want to tell you what I mean by neutral stance. So we're here. Okay, both of them are board leg forward basically, and their feet are kind of lined up in a somewhat linear fashion. And Atta's not going to move his feet as much as he should be when he throws his attacks. A good rule of thumb is even if you're in range with somebody, you should still be moving your feet to gain an angle of attack. And better yet, if they are in range, it's awesome because you can just dedicate all your movement to getting an angle on your opponent. And even if say you do an attack that doesn't land, the next attack can be added to that, and your footwork can kind of build off of one another. And I would like to see Atta throw less attacks and just make better quality of movement. See, their footwork he didn't move his feet and he threw like 5 shots. He could have just as easily thrown 2 or 3 shots with better footwork and they would have landed. He ended up winning, but it's just an observation. Again, standing there, got hit in the board side shoulder. A lot of people, when they do footwork, they only control range. They don't control the angle as well. And I actually just prefer to move in circles rather than controlling the range. Just because in certain situations, controlling range doesn't matter as much. I like to see Atta open his shield a little bit more because he's kind of cutting off his angle of attack by his shield being in the way of his sword hand. But if that shield's open a little bit, it doesn't obstruct your sword hand as much, and you can make faster attacks from your guard position, basically. Not bad money shot. Again, he needed to set that up with better footwork. I'd like to see one or multiple steps towards Telflair's board side shoulder, and then when he actually throws that reverse wrap, it's more likely to land. Just because he's putting greater emphasis and context for something he's ultimately going to feint off of. 10-8, that's not bad. A little bit of a flourishing movements. I like to see their movements get cleaned up a little bit more, and again, just have a higher ROI and higher ROI of movement and building off of their successes from when they're doing stuff. There's plenty of opportunity for both of them to work off the thing they were already successful on. For Telflair, in this case, it's going to be his board side shoulder wrap, and for Atta, it's actually going to be his reverse wrap, or it's called a money shot. It's just they need to invest a little bit more on the things that make those shots successful. Like in Telflair's case, it's going to be he needs to move more towards his opponent's sword side so that he can get his opponent to shift his guard over more, and then when he actually goes to attack it, his opponent's going to overreact, and he's more likely to get hit by the other attack. It's all about putting emphasis in the area that in a lot of cases, the setup is putting emphasis in the area that you're feinting towards, and not always in the area that you're going to be actually attacking. Same thing for Atta here. It's actually going to be he needed to move more towards his opponent's board side shoulder so that he had more emphasis and context for when he actually the attack looks more real when he actually feints it. So if I'm always moving towards the area that I'm feinting towards, that threat is more real and more reliable. And then when I actually go to feint off of it, the attack is easier to land. You don't have to put as much movement into it. You don't have to dedicate as much resources. And you can get a very, very high ROI on something as long as you prepare your opponent and prepare them for the selling of the feints. Anyways, guys, this has been Raving Reviews. If you would like your own film reviewed, you can always DM me on Discord. You can also join our Discord server at Swift Combat and Fitness. If you're interested in coaching, I also provide that as a service. You can also DM me for that as well. And just like all of our videos, this is sponsored by Optimum Arms or Optimum Foam. Optimum Arms is a company that makes the best weapons and equipment in boffer combat in the United States. Basically, because they make the best equipment, if you're looking to be a person who's trying to be competitive in foam fighting, one of the easiest things you could possibly do is start by using the best equipment possible. That way, you're using the best possible tool that allows you to express your skills and the things that you're looking to develop. Anyway, guys, this has been Raven Reviews. I hope you have a good night. I'll check you later. Bye.